Hey, it's your man, Doc Love, aka the Breakup Coach, relationship speaker, and relationship education advocate, back with the Why Is This So Challenging podcast. Now, as we always do it each and every week, I am joined by my favorite co-host and also my lovely wife, Miss Lady Love. How you doing, Miss Lady Love?
Great. How are you?
I'm doing good, doing wonderful, wonderful. Listen, as always, we want to thank you first and foremost for all of the feedback, all of the love that you're showing us and giving us. We just want to thank you for all of the comments that you're making and everything that you're doing. And we also want to let you all know that we want to form a community. This community is going to start basically having people to come into our space where we can form a community so we can start working on these issues when it comes to relationship, being able to really help you resolve your relationship issues and allow you to have the relationships that you desire. So we definitely thank you for all that you're doing. Now, of course, we're going to get right into it because we have another Power Pack show, and we're going to just let Lady Love just give us a brief description of what we're going to talk about, and we're going to get right into it.
Hi, everyone. Today we're going to be talking about dating.
Yes.
What is the purpose of dating and why are we dating? And I feel like this is a really great question in today's time because in one of our previous episodes, we had a young lady basically explain the stressors or the issues when it comes to young adults in today's society with getting into relationship. And we know before we can get into relationship and marriage, we have to navigate dating.
Yes.
Because dating is getting to know people and getting to determine whether or not this is the person for you.
Exactly. And now for me, I want to start it off because I want one thing to be clear when it comes to dating, the purpose of why you date. And I think a lot of people don't understand that this process, and this is what I want to emphasize so much, is that dating and the process of dating is about learning and growing. I know that it is taken off into a lot of different areas these days where it's about finance, it's about a lot of different things, but really the essence of dating, the purpose that we're doing this for is to learn the person that we're dating and to learn more about ourselves. And if there is something that we're interested in as far as that person, to actually grow in that process, grow in ourselves of knowing ourselves more, knowing what we want, what we like, what's best for us, and also knowing that person. And really, it's the essence of it is learning and growing. And when you take that approach, when you really start from that place of saying, okay, it's not about all of these other things as much as it's about learning this person, learning myself, and also growing in this process, growing to know what is best for me and knowing and growing in the way of learning what's best for the person that I'm dating. That's really the essence of dating. And from that foundation, everything else is built.
I totally agree. And I want to piggyback off of what you just said, going into learning about yourself, because I'm a huge proponent.
Oh, yeah.
Everything starts with yourself. The people that we meet are just a representation or a reflection of ourselves. And so looking within and learning about ourselves before we critique or learn about someone else is the first thing. I truly believe that when you first start dating, that it really should be about you.
Exactly.
And I know that may sound very selfish.
No, it sounds good. Yeah, it really
I
does.
believe it's not about the other person.
Right.
I feel like the best experience is when you come into the conversation already having an idea of what works for you.
Exactly.
And then measuring that with the person that you're dealing with. So I mentioned this because sometimes people, they may really be feeling the person that they're willing to let things go. They're willing to let things slide because maybe she looks really good, or maybe he looks really good, or they got it going on, or he has the perfect job that you want him to have. And so then you start bending some of your non-negotiables. You start letting things slide that are like deal breakers for you. And I feel like when you start doing that, then you really start compromising yourself.
Exactly.
There's nothing wrong with you expanding and opening up yourself to other ideas, but if you know that there is something that you cannot live with, then I think you have to be true to yourself to say this doesn't really agree with me, and this probably is not the best person for me.
Exactly. Exactly. And to that end, like you said, it really comes down to the fact that we have to find what's best for us, even if all of the circumstances around it is not perfect or ideal. A lot of times we make it more about the external in these days and times. And I think what happens is we'll find that person that externally is perfect for us, but then that person doesn't treat us right, or I can't trust that person, or that person is not faithful.
Right.
And so it's like, okay, what's really more important?
Right.
Knowing that you have a relationship with someone that you know you can trust, that you know appreciates you and is going to be faithful to you, or having a relationship with somebody that looks good or somebody that has mass appeal. Right. When you think about that, you really have to break that down, because really what I've said so many times before in the past is, as you grow older, you're going to think about it from this standpoint. Looks are going to fade, beauty can fade, things of that nature is not going to be what it once was. But one thing you'll always have is the person's essence, who that person is, the ability to be able to communicate with them, the ability to be able to have them in your life and play an important part in your life, so that you have that person that is going to be there through the times, and somebody that knows you and loves you and appreciates you for you. These are the things that really are at the essence of what you really want to build your relationship on. As we talked about before, finances and all that, that can be improved. Anybody can get a better job or start a business and start making more money. But what can't be improved oftentimes is people's character, their principles and their morals and their beliefs on things. So it's like we really need to make sure that we make it important to be about picking someone that really makes us feel good on the inside, because when you feel good on the inside, then it reflects on the outside.
Right. And as time goes along, we're talking about longevity in
Yes.
a relationship, in marriage, and you talk about evolution.
Mm.
And we're going to evolve over time. I'm not the same Michelle that I was 5 years ago. I'm not going to be the same Michelle 5 years from now. But I'm with you, and you love me, and you like me. And so you're down for the ride. You're down for my evolution.
Right.
You know, like, the essence of who I am. You know how I think. You know the things that I'm into, and you've accepted that. I know the things that you love, and I want you to explore your desires, your passion, your purpose.
Exactly.
And so as we evolve, then can our partner evolve with us?
Exactly.
Because there's going to come a time that I may want to start learning yoga. Like, one time I took up kickboxing,
Right.
and you were just like, yeah, go for it.
Right.
You know, what if you're with someone who doesn't expand, who doesn't allow you to evolve? And that's a very surface thing, kickboxing or yoga or something like that. But what if some of your beliefs change around things?
Exactly.
You know, is that person going to still rock with you and be with you and say, okay, I'm going to allow you to be who you are? Maybe you think differently about how you rear children than you did when you grew up. Maybe your ideas and your value systems have changed some. Maybe you want to take up a business. Maybe you don't want to take up a business.
Right.
Maybe sometimes people feel like their partner is not as, what's the word?
Not as ambitious.
As you are.
Yeah.
Are you okay with that? Because
Exactly.
when you're marrying someone, or if you are in a committed relationship with someone, then you're saying that I choose you just the way that you are today.
Exactly.
We know that we have potential. We know that we have the ability to grow and to expand. But this day, do you choose this person? Because that person is going to evolve over time.
Exactly.
And so I think with dating, it is a crucial time.
Yes.
It is
Yes.
probably one of the most important aspects of starting a relationship. It's not about just going out to dinner,
Yes.
the having a good time, the fun. That's fine to do those things. But really, to me, the purpose of dating is really courting this person. And I know that's a
Exactly.
very traditional, old fashioned term,
Yes.
but it is really about vetting this person and seeing, is this the person that I can spend the rest of my life with, or
Hmm.
see the next 20, 30 years of my life with this person able to navigate life with.
Exactly.
So,
Exactly. And the thing about that is, and it brings up two words for me, and these are key words: patience and time. I think that oftentimes the problem is when we really have more time and actually that gives us more patience, we're not really taking that time to vet who am I going to be with for the rest of my life and all of that. Meaning, there's a lot of time that we have in our 20s that we're not even thinking about being with someone and what that person is going to look like and what will my life look like with them. And to me, that's a ideal time because you are going to be more patient because you're young. You're in your 20s. So you like, hey, I got a long time. So let me start thinking about that. Let me start making sure that I'm making the steps to set myself up so that when it is that time, I'm doing that. What often happens is we get into our 30s and now we're starting to be less patient and we're starting to take less time. We're doing things quicker because we're trying to get to, is this the person? Is this the person? Of course, unfortunately, but it's real. The biological clock for the woman starts to tick a lot. For our women, when you're younger, your eggs are better, they're healthier. But as you get older, they do become less healthy. And then, of course, the risk of the pregnancy is more so as you get older. So it's like the biological clock is ticking, so it's less patience. You take less time. And time is the key to learning that person that you're with and making sure that person is best for you and making sure that you have everything that person needs as well. It takes time. And so often some people are hoping you don't take any time to learn them so that they can just sneak in. Yeah, because you're rushing to figure out, okay, is this the person, or I'm ready to get married, I'm tired of waiting. So now you're in that mode of, oh, I'm going to rush this. And before you know it, you didn't take the time to really vet and know the person that you're with, and just vet and know that this is the best person for you. As my wife said, to evolve with, to grow with, to be with for the long haul, because it's not about just now, it's about what this thing is going to look like 20 or 30 years from now. I talk about the word investment, and that's what an investment is about. And that's what a long-term relationship or marriage is. It's an investment. It's an investment that we're making today really to get a return 20, 30 years from now when we're looking back and we can say, man, we built something, we did something special, and we did it together. And now we can look at that investment and be proud of ourselves. Right. And if there are children involved, be proud of the children we raised. If it's not children, just be proud of our life journey together. Right. It's that investment that we make. So we have to understand, just like we make an investment in anything that we're doing right now, whether it's stocks or bonds or anything, that the investment that you make with your time and your patience to pick the right person is just as important.
Absolutely. It's one of the most important decisions that you can make in your life because you're doing life with this person.
Exactly.
Every day, the most impacted person in your life is living with you and being with you and dealing with every facet of your life. That's to me the beauty of marriage. When you're married, this person sees the best of you. This person sees the very worst of you.
Exactly.
If you want to label it that way. This person sees you when you have hit rock bottom. This person has celebrated and rejoiced with you at the height of your successes.
Yes.
Each other's successes. And so this is the thing that we really should put a lot of our time and attention to.
Yes.
Because this is the thing that can affect your life in a major way. There was a video, a social media video I sent you, and it was talking about statistics. There was this woman on there that was talking about statistics of women and how women have a lot of health issues that are married. Women have a lot of stressors that are married. Women have a lot of these different things because of marriage. And then I love that a therapist came in, Dr. Raquel, I love her. And she was basically commenting on that video and was saying that a harmonious, connective marriage
Mm-hmm.
does not lead to that.
No.
These are marriages that are full of stress and
Right.
full of this person not feeling connected to, this person not feeling seen, this person not feeling valued,
Mm.
this woman not feeling supported by her husband, and vice versa. So there is this idea that relationship in marriage leads to tons of stress and tons of heart conditions and different things like that. And I can attest to it that yes, any type of relationship or marriage
Mm-hmm.
or job or whatever life situation that puts you in a perpetual stressed out state is going to cause psychosomatic issues, it's going to cause physical issues, it's going to cause emotional and mental issues. What we're talking about here
Yes.
is dating with intention and purpose.
Exactly.
It's dating to hopefully have a connective
Mm-hmm.
marriage, what we call successful, that you can communicate well together,
Yes.
that you can accept each other
Mm-hmm.
for who we are instead of just trying to change each other. My idea of a connective relationship is one that has deep roots, that's not surface level, that's based on our love and our faith and our closeness with each other.
Mm-hmm.
So, in those latter years, when we're talking about being able to look back on your legacy of marriage and say, I will take care of my spouse.
Right. Right.
If something happens with my spouse, a medical issue,
Mm-hmm.
or if my spouse passed, I'm going to do everything that I can to be there for my spouse or to do the best by my spouse. And
Right.
like to me, that is what a successful marriage is, and that's what we're talking about when it comes to dating.
Yes.
If you're just wanting, and you can have whatever you want. So I'm a huge proponent of you create the life that you desire. You can have a surface level marriage, but when things get hard, is the foundation of that marriage or that relationship going to be strong enough to withstand the test of time? Or do you want a relationship or a marriage that can have the roots and be able to withstand life storms?
Right.
Because life gets pretty overwhelming at times, but life is also great at times. And
Right.
so there was something that you mentioned we were talking about, and it kind of led to desperation. When a person's clock is ticking, biological clock is ticking, or you reach your 30s or you reach your 40s or now your 50s. What I've learned in life is that when you start getting antsy about time frames and things like that, then you start getting desperate. And when you start getting desperate, like you mentioned, you start just taking whatever.
Right.
And I feel like that's another thing I wanted to kind of go back to is desperation. Learning that it's not about getting there fast. It's about getting there, truly getting there.
Yeah. Getting there safe.
Yes.
Before I get to that, I want to go back to a thought that I had, because you're right. It is really about eliminating desperation. And one of the ways that I talk about that is by using time and patience. When you are not rushing the process, of course, that's going to eliminate the fact of feeling like you have to do this really quickly or you are on some timetable. I know people that have had this happen to them, and it has happened to me, where literally before we were married, of course, I had a female or two tell me, hey, if we're not married by this time, then we need to get together. And I'm just like, that's not the purpose of why I'm going to get married, because I feel like I'm running out of time. It's going to be because I found the right person.
Right.
And so if we're not talking about doing that now, why we're going to do it at a certain age?
Right.
But the point that I wanted to make before that is, unfortunately, so many people feel like they don't know if it's possible. And because they feel like they don't believe that it's possible, a lot of time is, in a sense, wasted, or a lot of time is spent on this going back and forth with a lot of people that you normally wouldn't even date. I'll say it like this. If I feel like I can never get the job that I desire, then I'll find myself working any odd and end job for years and years and years because I feel like, oh, I can't get the job I want. Maybe one day I'll get there, but in the meantime, I'll just do something to tide myself over. But that's not the right process to have in a relationship, because you can find yourself losing 10, 15, 20 years. And then you're looking up and saying, okay, I really want something now. But that now is now putting pressure on time and patience. You're not executing or exercising the best time and patience. So that's the thing, is understanding that if you're younger, especially for our younger people, don't waste so much time out here just doing life or doing you, so to speak, because that time is valuable. And you're going to look back and wish that you spent some of that time making sure that you prepared yourself for the future that you want to have. And so it is very, very important to make sure that we're hammering down on our people and letting them know it can happen. It is possible, but you got to believe that it's possible. If you don't believe it's possible, then no one else is going to believe it's possible either. So it starts with your thoughts and your beliefs on understanding and knowing that I believe it's possible. And since I believe it's possible and know that I can have the relationship and the marriage I want, I need to start right now making sure that I'm doing the things I need to do, taking the time to make sure I set up everything in a way that's going to make it wonderful for me. Now, I want to say this. Sometimes setting up things is not always a monetary thing or a finance thing. I get it. Hey, let me work or let me go back to school. But it's not always about setting up these external things. Sometimes it's about setting yourself up internally to be the best person for the person that you want to be with. And also so that you will attract the type of person that's going to love you right and appreciate you for who you are.
So we had a conversation last week, and I want to ask you this question as it relates to dating.
Yes.
And when you think about when you were young, 25 years old or so, when you probably were thinking about marriage and different things like that, what do you think was one of the main things that, or pressure that you feel like you had as a young man dating?
Okay, this is good. You got me. This is good. Okay. Yeah, we talked about this. And I'll be honest. I mean, like most, I believe, young men, money and finances were a thing that I was thinking about. You didn't want to be that person that couldn't take care of the person that you're with financially. So, of course, you are always thinking, okay, am I making enough money? If this is what I'm going to make for the next 5-10 years, will this be enough to sustain the relationship? And unfortunately, a lot of relationships are not happening because of finances. And I don't want to get into that because we know that's a big thing, and that's going to be for another show. It's going to have its own show, trust me. But I think sometimes we pay too much attention to it.
Do you feel like what you now know, fast forwarding to now, do you feel like you would have seen things differently?
Yeah, I'll put it this way. I'm glad you asked that question, because here's the thing. Looking back at it, at the time, finance might have been the number one thing. Looking at it today, really being mentally, emotionally, internally prepared for marriage was the number one thing now that I look at it, because that's really what God saw. He saw it ain't really the money. You just got some growing to do. You have some things you got to do internally that you need to figure out. You have some situations you need to go through so that once you go through these, you'll understand who you are better. You'll understand what you need to be for the person that you need to be there for. That's the trick. Really, that's the key. Is unfortunately, we're conditioned to think it's all about money when, as you said so many times before, we're going to make money. That's what everybody does, is work. Now, of course, if nobody's working, that's a big concern. But if somebody is going out and they're putting food on their table and they're maintaining a roof over their head, then they're really doing the basics of what you need. The deal is maturity. And how I know this is this was something we were talking about. How many marriages are ending on the first marriage within the first 5 to 10 years. It's not because of money typically. It's because of lack of your internal maturity and understanding what marriage really is and how to navigate it. Also, sometimes we have not done the work that we need to do on ourselves. Then we're entering into a partnership with someone else that we also need to do work there. So we still trying to figure ourselves out. And now we're coming together and now we're having our own issues of working that out. And then don't put a child in the middle of that. Oftentimes you'll find that once you put all of these 3 layers on top of each other, it's a lot and you can't sustain that. And it wasn't because you didn't have the money. It was because a lot of times you didn't do the work on yourself before you got with this person, and then didn't take the time after you all got together and got married to work on your relationship with each other. That's another thing people have to understand is you got to work on your relationship. You all are coming together. So you got to make that tight before you do have children oftentimes, because now those children don't care about y'all relationship. Right. All they care about is me. It's like, hey, y'all should have worked that out before I got here. I'm here now. Yeah, I'm here now. So let's go.
And it could go for business as well.
Exactly.
Sometimes people want to be power couples.
Yes.
And they get into the marriage for that reason.
Mm-hmm.
And then when the stress of business.
Yes.
We have business together.
Yes.
It was a wonderful journey. But at that time, we had a very luxurious salon, and COVID happened.
Right.
And if our foundation was not strong enough within each other and for each other, then that so-called loss, which I see it as a gain, I always see life experiences gains, but that loss could have definitely disrupted our marriage. So many things could have disrupted our marriage throughout these years. We've gone through IVF and it didn't work out at that time. Yeah. And talk about desperation. That's a whole nother topic we could talk on. Yeah. But so many times a lot of women and men, but typically a lot of women become desperate to have a child. Yes. And so when they go through that IVF process, it can put a major strain on a marriage. You know, I've seen where women have families have spent upward of $100,000 without a baby coming out of it, and it's because of this desire to have this child. It's all that person can see. They can't see anything else. And it's the same thing with business. You can be overcome with business. Yes. If the business isn't working well, or if the business is working well and it's taking more of you, and now you've neglected the relationship. Yes. That can lead to desperation. All of these things can lead to a breakdown of a relationship. So that's why the dating aspect, me going back to it, is so important for us to have this conversation to determine, like, what do we need to be doing while we're dating? What does that look like? Yeah. Are we just going out and having a whole bunch of fun, or are we really meeting family, meeting friends? Are we asking the questions in the relationship reset ebook that we have? Yeah. Is this person unwilling to answer these questions that's in the book? Are they unwilling to even have these conversations about how they feel or about what they've gone through? Right. Like, this is the pivotal moment, the dating process, to find out what that dating needs to look like. Yeah. And so many people do not understand how important that moment is when you're in this process. Now, I don't want to scare anybody, because we understand how deep it is and we understand how important it is, but we also understand how beautiful it is. And I think a lot of people do not understand how beautiful this process is when it's done correctly. And that's why we're such advocates about it, because we know how beautiful it is. We know how beautiful it can be for any and every person. And we know that anybody that desires it can have it. That's why it takes time and patience, because you don't have to think when you really have a good understanding of who it is that you are with and who you're dating and who you're in a relationship with. When you have that good, solid understanding,
then you kind of know, okay, if that person was tested this way, this is what they'll do. If they're tested that way, this is what they'll do. And one of the things I say, and I tell people all the time, sometimes it is best to know if the person that you're with is going to be a person that's down with you. And I wouldn't tell you to play any games, because I don't believe in games at all. We just don't believe in games. But it is for you to find out if this person is going to be that person that no matter what, they're with you for you, not because they see the potential of how much money can be made, or the potential of a wonderful, successful business, or the potential of any of that. It's about, okay, are they with me for me? Because at the end of the day, if they're not with you for you, trust me, it can make for a very bad situation, and it can make for a very ugly divorce. And I personally, I don't want to see this trend of, oh, I'm going to get married just to try it out and see what it's about. And then if the first one don't work out, we'll just work it out and get it right the second time. To me, you can get it right the first time. It takes doing the work that you need to do on yourself and preparing yourself the way you should for that first marriage. And that first marriage can work out and be wonderful like it's supposed to be.
Absolutely.
All right. So at this time, as we've said before, we just appreciate all of you all just being here with us. As we said earlier, our ebook, our relationship reset ebook, is still out there for people to get. We're emphasizing this because it allows you to ask the pivotal and important questions and know what those questions are so that you can get the answers that you need. Really, in life, it's about getting the answers to your questions. Anybody knows that if I know the answers to whatever it is that I need or anything that I want, I can get it. But if I don't know the answers, it's going to be very hard for me to be able to get what it is that I need.
Yes. And I love the Relationship Reset ebook because sometimes people need a guide to help them ask certain questions.
Yes.
Sometimes, and it's nothing, no slight on us.
Right.
We may not know what questions to ask. We may not know how deep we should go into the conversation. But this is a great way that if you are single and you're not in a relationship, these could be things that you could be thinking about that you can ask the next person that you feel very serious about or that you feel like could be a potential partner. Or if you're in a relationship,
yes,
and you're wanting to have these deep conversations, you want more connection in your relationship, or you haven't thought about these things before, then the Relationship Reset ebook is great. And then again, if you're married or if you're newly married and you want to just get a deeper connection with each other, you want to just have some conversations that deepen the connection you have even now. I don't care if you've been married for 50 years or 5 years. Marriage is marriage because marriage is relationship.
Exactly.
And you're going to grow and evolve each and every day. And so there is never a time where you can say that I'm done learning about my partner or I'm done learning about myself.
Right.
So if you want to get more connection with yourself, if you want to get more connection with your partner, if you want to start having more deeper conversations, definitely go and grab our ebook. It is located at Why Is This So Challenging? Podcast.com. And of course, we're going to put the link in the description. And we're so excited for you all to share with us, to join us, and to listen to these conversations. I'm personally so excited about this podcast because there was a time when I was younger that I wish I could have these conversations, that somebody was actually talking about this stuff, because I didn't grow up in an era where you just sat down and talked about things like this.
Right.
Like you just had to kind of figure them out for yourself.
Yeah.
But we're so excited to be able to come here every Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to have these conversations with you.
Yeah. And also to that end, too, even if you're not looking to get married, you just want a lifelong partnership. That's another reason to really read this book, because to have a strong partnership, you need to ask the right questions. And also, the book also emphasizes a lot of important points that we need to think about when it comes to marriage as well. It's not just a book of questions, but it's a book that also delves into why you ask these questions and the reason behind asking these questions and what these questions are going to allow you to be able to gain from that relationship. So it's a comprehensive book, and I'm telling you, it's going to make a huge difference. You're going to love it and you're going to appreciate it. So I just want everybody out there to do that as well. So listen, we've come to the end of our show. Like it is always, we appreciate you for coming out and being a part. For me, Doc Love, this is Lady Love. Why Is This So Challenging podcast? And like we say all the time, live and love fearlessly. We are out of here.